What's up guys, this is Chris here, and today we've got something pretty awesome for you. Today we're going to be comparing two of my absolute favorite handguns in all of handgun history. We're going to be talking about the CZ P07, my baby, everybody knows it, versus the CZ P01, my other baby. Before we get into the video, I want to mention my Patreon supporters. Thank you guys very much. I purchased both of these guns with the Patreon dollars, and if you want to support the channel, you like the content, that is absolutely the best way to do it. Just go to the link in the description and sign up. If you don't like Patreon, feel free to use Super Thanks. It is YouTube's version of that. We appreciate either one. I also want to mention a homeless shelter in Ames, Iowa, the YSS. It's a youth shelter. I'd really appreciate, especially now with the current economic system, if you guys donate to those kids, they could really use your help. So I'd really appreciate if you could on there, click that link and donate to those kids. And then finally, after that, there'll be a link to our new channel, Outlaw Life. Occasionally we put stuff on there. We've been a little bit lax of late, but we'll get to it. There's a lot of pros and cons to both these guns, but they're made by the same company with very similar specs. In this video, we're going to get into how they are the same, but really kind of focus on how they're different. Because I understand they're similar guns, but they do have actually a lot of differences if you get to know these guys, and boy, have I got to know these. For people that are familiar with my channel, CZ is one of my favorite companies. The CZ P07, if it doesn't look like it, has been used quite a few times, and so has the P01. So I've got a lot of trigger time on both these guns to tell you the differences. So let's go through the P07 first. The P07 is newer than the P01, I do believe, but essentially it is a polymer frame double single action pistol with a 4-inch barrel that's a 9mm cartridge. This is an aluminum frame double single action with a 4-inch barrel and a 9mm cartridge. So really the only overall difference between the two is that this has an aluminum frame and this has the polymer frame. This has the standard 75 trigger, although you can get the Omega trigger, and this usually comes with the Omega trigger, I believe. So they do actually have a little bit of a different trigger pull if you feel them both. And they do have quite a different feel to them, and they do have quite a different recoil impulse to them as well. They also have different potential, believe it or not, because one of the things that CZ is known very well for, besides just being awesome out of the box, is being even more capable of being customized. So first let's go into the P07. The philosophy of use for both these guns is going to be the same. Kind of, in my opinion, the ideal carry gun, especially for appendix carry. The reason why double single action is recommended for appendix by most people, I believe, is because you can put your thumb on the hammer when you put the gun away. So if you put the gun on the hammer, if you were to inadvertently activate the trigger mechanism, literally nothing can happen because I'm holding the freaking hammer down. So if I come into the holster like this and I accidentally snag the holster and the trigger, nothing's gonna happen because I have the trigger compressed. Also, if I didn't have the hammer compressed, as you can see here, it takes a lot longer to initiate a double action trigger, so you're probably going to notice that way before you would a striker fired trigger. So it's just safer for your junk overall, and it makes me feel better. Plus, for those people who are afraid of having a round in the chamber, this is kind of a good middle of the road, honestly. It makes people feel a little bit safer about having one. You also add the ability to have the double strike capability, and then on top of that, you add the ability to dry fire all day and night, which is one of the reasons why I'm a decent pistol marksman, is because I really believe in dry fire. And your ability to do that with a double action trigger gives you that longer trigger pull, and you can see more variance in your sights, and you also don't have to reset the slide every single time. So it's like a consistent dry fire practice gun that you have ready to go. And then the final thing I really like about that is your ability to switch to single action. And on these guns, the single action on the P07 is around, I think, 3-ish pounds, which is very lightweight and is better than almost every striker fired gun on the market. And you'll have the same pros with the P07 because it also runs the double action system. So it obviously has all the same pros. We'll get into the polymer frame, and then so the philosophy of use on this gun is gonna be obviously concealed carry. It works very well for that. But one of the reasons why I like both these guns is because of the ergonomics of the gun allow it to just be unbelievably shootable. So even though it's lightweight at 28 ounces and 28 ounces, both the guns shoot as good or better than most full-size guns. Part of that is due to the internal slide rails of the CZ. As you can see there, it has the slide rails inside the frame, and it has a smaller reciprocating mass on the top, and it's a little bit closer to your hand, which is nice. You can see there, even though it's got a double action, there's very little gap between the top of the slide And my actual hand itself, if you compare that to something like a 320 or maybe a SIG 226, you'll find the CZ runs much lower. Not only do you get that, but you also get the added recoil benefit of having the exposed hammer and running across that hammer spring along with the recoil spring, making an unbelievably light shooting gun overall. Every time I hand the CZ pattern guns to people after they're done shooting a Glock or even an M&P, which has a low recoil impulse, people always comment on their ability to gain that sight picture quicker because you have less recoil, less muzzle flip. Good bit of that's that nice, awesome beaver tail, your ability to get really high in the gun. You can press down on the safety or decocker. That's another thing that's really nice about the CZ pattern is either of these guns can also have a safety or a decocker. So if you want to have the ability to decock the gun, that's very nice. Or if you want to have a safety, you can do both. So you could buy one gun, and if you're comfortable with the safety or not, either one is up to you. A lot of aftermarket accessories for both. However, the king of that is obviously going to be this, and that's kind of the potential for upgrades that I was talking about. You can get some trigger upgrades for this, and you can get some dots and things like that, but nowhere near the level you can the P01. The P01, you can change the grips, which is amazing. People call that old school, but the reality about that is it's awesome because you can have thin grips, thick grips, and with a Glock, you get back straps that really don't work all that much, whereas a grip kind of can change the whole ergonomics of the pistol grip, whereas a backstrap kind of just gives you a little bit more distance. So it's not really the same thing. And along with that, if you're a tinkerer, like to customize, you can get cool custom grips that say your name, which I honestly think is really cool because I do that on my CZs. You're going to be able to get texture depending on if you want it slick on your stomach for carry all day, or if you want to have a lot of texture to shoot a competition. And guess what? Unlike a Glock or something where you get it stippled, you could take these grips on or off. So you could put the stock grips on to sell it, or you could have the stock grips on to carry it, and you could put more aggressive grips on to shoot it in competition. A lot of options there. Also with the P01, it can be customized very similarly to the 75. There's a lot of companies out there that specialize in that and do it very well. Cajun Gunworks, CZ Custom come to mind, and you could have these guns tricked out like the ProTech 2 from CZ Custom, and they can have 2.5 pound triggers with 4 pound double action pulls. Unbelievable accuracy, unbelievable speed on top of what they already have. Both these guns were done in the 1,000 round reviews. Both of them have much more rounds than that, and none of them have ever had a malfunction that I'm aware of that I can attribute not to ammunition. Super reliable guns, super accurate, super fast. Both of them are 100 yards capable, and both of them are capable of getting even more accuracy and speed than that, but I would consider the P01 to have just a little bit more potential in that department because of its ability to get the CZ75 triggers. Also, the P01 takes the CZ75 pattern magazines. You can see here, stock mag, works really well. This is the mag that comes with it, works well. And then you can also run these big guys here, which is really nice. These are actually for my redback, which we were shooting earlier. The P07 series takes the P07, P09, and some of the P10C magazines, which is pretty cool as well. As you can see here, the difference in the mags, if you have them both, are just that they look a little bit different, and these have rails on the side here, which make them look very distinctively different than the P01 mags. Which actually still work in the P07, which is pretty fucking crazy, but it is not the same the other way. So honestly, it's really a matter of what you want out of the guns. You're gonna get a little bit lower recoil impulse with the P07 in my personal opinion, just simply because you get the polymer grip, and the polymer has a little bit of polymer flex. The same weight, but a little bit of flex helps out with a little bit less perceived recoil. The CZ P01 is gonna have an inherently more accurate overall platform just because it's gonna have the ability to take better triggers, but out of the box it is the same. So I know this is crazy, but if I had to pick one of these, really? I would pick this one. And the reason for that is the grip fits me a little bit better out of the box because it's a little bit thicker than the standard grips. Obviously you can change the grips like I mentioned, but I like the recoil impulse of the P07 a little bit better. And I know you guys know that I love this gun, but I'm not sure you know how much. Like, this is not that popular of a gun, but I keep making videos of it because I shoot this consistently myself all the time. I love how this gun draws. I love how it shoots. I love the repeat shots. And I also happen to have a Cajun Gunworks custom trigger in here, which makes it just more accurate than this overall. I know I'm gonna get this one done eventually and it'll probably be a better comparison, but I have plenty experience with the stock version of this as well. Both of them are amazing. What I would really recommend is just going to the gun store, picking them up, seeing which one you like, as always, and then just remembering a little bit less recoil, a little bit more accurate is really the only difference. Both of them are capable these days of accepting dots, which I would recommend for even more superior accuracy, especially with aging eyes. But overall, you absolutely can't go wrong with either one. Very similar in price, I think $450 to $450, and you can actually find them less than that. And the awesome thing about CZ is that they are damn tough. So if you find one used, I wouldn't blink an eye. I'd pick that bad boy up. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. Please help out your local homeless shelters, and remember to recycle. I'll check you later. You know what kind of sucks about comparing really good guns is that there's not a winner and then people get mad. But it's like both of these guns are so fucking good, I can't really find a flaw in either one of them, you know? I also have a lot of neighbors that drive by, so my bad on that. We film in our driveway. There's no special studio out here.
We do in fact film in the driveway.
But yeah,